Hello, and welcome to Four Records. My name is Forrest, and your name
And
is?
my name's Karina. I was very interested because when we were doing the whole back and forth on what album um influenced us and like going from 0 to 10 and teenage years and our 20s and like our recent years,
Mhm.
what I really like was I feel like mine's very generic. You could tell that I'm born in the 90s, but but you came with something that I didn't even think about. That was Nirvana with Nevermind. That was your
It was hard because it should really be Beatles for me, but I couldn't narrow it
yeah.
down to one Beatles album.
Spoke about the Beatles and I was like, oh yeah, the Beatles. That's one of mine too. And you were like, oh, Beatles. Oh, fuck. But but how old were you when you first heard Nevermind? And what was it that like stuck with you?
It was 10. It was 100% being like, I was like 10 years old. It would have
Mm,
been like right before I would have turned 11, which it would be, I'm born in 82, so it would be 93, but I won't turn 11 till November. So I'm still
mm,
technically 10 in 93. And it was my a lot of it was my dad because he was the one who I got a lot of music from. The Beatles is who I got I got from my dad also. But I don't know what it is that what stuck with me at 10. I was an MTV kid too. I mean, that was
mm.
back when MTV still showed videos, and that was probably part of it. Like I used to wake up and like they would show videos all the time, and I would wake up. So here's the ones I remember specifically. Um, the Nevermind video they showed a lot. They were showing the Offspring a lot when they were getting big. That would be like a year or two later, and Green Day and all those bands. But
Hmm.
also, you would see all these videos and like rap, and they were throwing rap videos in there because that's when Dr. Dre and Snoop were
Yeah.
getting big and all that. But then in the middle of all that, you would see Sting's Fields of Gold. And it's definitely like one
Uh-huh.
of these things is not like the other. Now, that I like that song, don't get me wrong, but it was definitely like, okay, like it was kind of like he was there as MTV was like, yeah, we'll put this on for you, Sting. Yeah, we'll do you a solid, Sting. It's cool.
Actually, I do. I like growing up. I'm born in 92, so I get
Okay.
it. It was like those were the years with MTV and yeah, as I got older, more reality TV got put in.
Yeah.
I'm actually not going to complain about that because I do like my reality TV, and I do want to thank MTV for that one. Shout out.
Like the Jersey Shore and all
But
that.
oh yeah, that was it was horrible, but I loved it. I was so loyal to that show. But I do like back to what I was about to say. I do remember like you'd have Eminem and you'd have all these other hip hop artists like 50 Cent and Nelly and Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears.
Oh,
There's a Green Day song or there's a Blink song or Jimmy Eat World, but you'd have to sit around and wait for hours until it happened.
yeah, it's already getting like that. That's about the time I was getting into like Green Day and Offspring when I didn't have to
Mm-hmm.
like because I had all the albums, so at that point I can just listen to it whenever. I just stopped
Mm-hmm.
listening. I'm like, I don't need the video. I can see it once and then be good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But so with Nirvana, Nevermind,
Mhm.
because it's a classic. It's an iconic album,
Yeah.
also thanks to the cover art. But it was
Yeah.
just one of the things I was really wondering was if there's one song you had to pick now as you reflect back from Nevermind that screams like your youth, which song would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question because that was another one. I mean, I was still listening to albums from beginning to end at that point too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's definitely not Teen Spirit. I mean, as much as I like Teen Spirit, Stay Away was good. I mean, Stay Away was probably one of the first like really aggressive songs, Stay Away and Breed. I mean, I liked all the hits off that album are all really good.
Yeah.
Um, Lithium and Come As You Are and In Bloom. But I would say probably Breed and Territorial Pissings and Drain You. I remember liking Drain You a lot.
Well, Drain You's one of the ones that I actually really enjoyed from the album myself,
Yeah,
which I didn't understand why it wasn't a single, but then again, it was before my musical time too, so I didn't
yeah,
really pay much attention to it. But those are actually good picks.
yeah. I mean, honestly, like that whole album is just so well put together.
Yeah.
For
Oh,
as overplayed as people say it is, I mean it is. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time with Nirvana now, but I did as I was getting into music.
but how did that shape your music taste later on, Nirvana?
It wasn't, I mean, it was pretty much like my dad just throwing me CDs and going, here, listen to this, here, listen to this, like, here, listen to this. But how did it shape? I mean, it didn't really. I mean, it was definitely the gateway into a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When the Foo Fighters came out, I definitely liked, I definitely went to the Foo Fighters because I like Nirvana. I like, it's when Dave Grohl was just a drummer, not, Dave Grohl.
The Adultra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You really
well,
shut the bed on that one.
yeah, that was that. Everybody just wanted a collective groan, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I actually find the whole Nirvana thing interesting because it sounds like your dad helped shape a lot of your music tastes as you got older.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one who had Green Day and Offspring first. Beatles. Like I said, he was the one who liked the Beatles. He's got two Beatles tattoos. Yeah. He's got the drum logo on his shoulder, and then he's got the Hard Day's Night, like the half face on his
Yeah.
of each Beatle on his leg.
Oh, I was thinking about getting that one too.
Nice.
I just think it's such a good picture. So it was, yeah, that I get it. I get your dad. What
Yeah.
about you? Do you have any band tattoos? Do you have a Nirvana tattoo?
I don't have a Nirvana tattoo, but we will get to. One of these bands I have a tattoo for, so we'll get there. Well, it's going to be obvious. I don't have the tattoo of the other two, but we'll get there. I have a tattoo. I'll. So yours was Share Believe.
Yeah, that actually so that actually sums it up pretty well.
Hmm.
And here's the reason why. My dad was also one of these, like, he listened to a lot of AC/DC and he had a sports pub, and they played VH1 Classic and stuff like that. And I would listen to all these old songs. And then I was an early bird
Hmm.
kid yeah. I got up before 6 a.m. and
Same.
I'd go into the living room to watch television, to watch cartoons and stuff. But then one morning my dad had guests over and they had watched MTV as background,
Hmm.
uh and suddenly Cher's Believe comes on, and I'm sitting there and I'm 6 years old, six and a half, maybe nearly seven, and I just look up and I grew up. I mean, that this is a year after I moved to Denmark, nearly.
Yeah.
And you just we had Aqua, of course, but they didn't sound good. No offense. They didn't sound good. But they had the sparkling suits and everything. And I look at the television and she's there in her sparkling outfit with the hair and everything. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna continue playing. And I didn't change the channel. I was just playing with my Barbie dolls. And then her voice comes out. And I'm like, whoa, this is insane. Like her deep voice, I'd never heard anything like it. Because then again, it's not that my parents didn't play female musicians. I had just never heard Cher before.
Yeah.
And I just remember I fell in love with her. And I fell in love with the album. And I would be annoying. I would like go to my dad, can we buy Cher's album, Believe? And then he had a buddy that actually had it and lent it to me so we could listen to it. And I just fell in love with the whole album. And yeah, the rest just became history. I just remember just wanting to grow up to be Cher.
I'm just looking to see that because it came out in '98, so that was making sense. Okay, because
Yeah.
I played hockey growing up. I played roller
Yeah.
hockey. We used to go to the skating rink all the time. The roller skating rink, and they played this
Yeah.
song nonstop. Like not nonstop, but every week we would go. They would pay me maybe play it 2 or 3 times.
But it was Cher, and I didn't understand the impact that Cher had on the music world back then. But she was actually that song was played very often.
Oh yeah,
You could
no,
actually,
it was huge. I remember one of the girls I had in high school I had a crush on loved this album too and played it all the time.
she had great music taste. She has great music taste.
She, for the most part, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Huh. Oh, that's funny.
So
So did you like Cher?
I like Cher. I'm not big on Cher's music, but I like she doesn't bother me. Like I like her as like an actress. Like if you've seen her in things, she's really good as an
Oh yeah.
actress. Even in like the what's that? It's not a great Farrelly Brothers movie, but it's an okay one. Oh, Stuck on You. Have you ever seen that one?
No, I actually haven't seen that one.
It's
Stuck
about
on You.
it's Matt Damon and Greg Kinnear, and they're conjoined twins. And one of them wants to be an actor, and Cher's trying to sabotage the movie, kind of a hyperbolized version of herself. So she makes them hire the guy who's got another person attached to him, and it's them trying to like work around. Like Matt Damon's trying to date a girl, and then Greg Kinnear's trying to like be an actor, and it's them trying to green screen him and
Yeah.
make him like work around to where he's like he can act in it.
Wow.
But Cher wants it to be like a disaster so she can like I think get paid for it still or something. But yeah, I liked her in that. I mean, I think she has a good sense of humor about herself. If you've ever seen like how they, if
Hmm.
they have you ever heard the "I Got You, Babe" with Beavis and Butthead?
Yes.
Yeah. Um,
Yes. Have you ever read any of her tweets?
any of the of her tweets? No,
Yeah. Oh my God, she's hilarious.
really?
She's so savage. Yeah. And actually, that was more an interview I was thinking of. She went, someone, what was the interview? It was, who was it with? But there was an interview years ago, like around the time I was born.
Hmm.
And I can't remember the interviewer's name, but she asked Cher, do you think men are important? And Cher just went, for what? And and then in 2023, so Cher did an interview with what Amelia from the Chicken Shop date, and she asked Cher, "Do you still think men are unimportant? You can live without them." I just find her so iconic, and she tweets like I would tweet if I had any confidence. She she just drags people. It's like somebody tweeted her, sit on my face, and she just replied, sit on your own damn face. I'm busy. And I'm like, that is the only way to respond to it.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's what you would, yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah.
what other songs did you like off this album? Or is it just like
Oh,
beginning to end, just all of it?
I can tell you the one song I didn't like. I sometimes still I didn't like Taxi Taxi.
Okay.
I it it wasn't anything personal. I just found it was just an odd one out. But honestly, I really enjoyed yeah, Believe and All or Nothing, Strong Enough. Love is the Groove. I really like that one. I don't know why. And We All Sleep Alone because I We All Sleep Alone has this more 90s techno vibe to it. And I just remember being in my room just having my own party to it as I grew older.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think my parents had that much of a party with me and Cher.
Yeah. Did they find it I mean obviously they found it cool that you were like into that album, but was that like your first album that you found on your own, kinda?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I I do want to say yes, but I have a theory that I didn't find any of the music I like. Uh, I think somewhere along the lines, all been nudged my way by either my dad or his friends as I
Mhm.
grew up. Because I do remember my dad. He used to have he passed away a few actually many years ago, but he had this epic music collection and he was really into Elvis. But I do remember my mom um liking Cher, and but she never played it because again it was before streaming services and you'd have to buy CDs, and my mother wasn't really a music kind of person. I don't even think I think she's been to an Elton John concert once, and that was about that.
Okay.
But yeah, my dad, that was just the AC/DC and Excess and
Oh,
stuff
nice.
like that. And yeah, I think that's cool. But
Yeah.
so the moment I discover Cher, or I feel like I discover her, I just start singing. And everybody around me, because they're much older, they know her. And they're like, oh, yeah, Cher, you should listen to this. You should listen to this. And I do feel like that me discovering Cher, actually, me discovering a strong female singer
Hmm.
moved um moved me into a different direction than I think my parents and their friends would have expected,
Okay.
because it wasn't Spice Girls, and it wasn't really, I like Britney Spears and I like Christina Aguilera, but it wasn't like, oh, I idolized them like I idolize Cher in that way. But it was kind of, yeah, I think I didn't discover her on my own. I think it was my parents' friends and
Yeah.
the universe.
As much as I love having like all this punk rock stuff with my kids, I'm hoping that they find
Mm.
their own thing. Like I love taking them to shows and exposing them to all this. I'm waiting for them to be like, I heard a
Oh
band and
yeah.
I want them to play, play it for me. I always feel bad that
Mm.
I'm like, I'm gonna probably get to most of these. I mean, there's all the bands I listen to a lot of music in general, but like, there's not a chance for them to like come to me and be like, hey, check out this new band because I've probably already heard it.
I actually feel the same way, but my son there yet, but he came home from school before Christmas, and his class is just they're just catching up to Wednesday. There's apparently a Lady Gaga song in Wednesday, Bloody Mary, and my son just comes home and he goes, "Mom, I've discovered this song and you need to hear it." And he starts singing it. I'm like, I know this song. I love this song. I love Lady Gaga. I know this song.
Yeah.
And he goes, and I put it on and he goes, "Oh, you knew it already?" I went, "Oh yeah, it's for my youth." And he went, "Wow, it's an old song. I feel really cool." But he did it recently too with this Backstreet Boys song. I don't know what to I honestly don't know what to tell him, because I want to celebrate it when he doesn't come home and go, "Oh, I want to listen to Arm's Length again for the 50th time." I love Arm's Length and I introduced him to it, but it's like I kind of like that he's coming to me with, "Oh, I found this." And it's so you say that in your teenage years, Minor Threat. So what was it that I mean it's a punk heaven.
Yeah.
It sounds, yeah, but what was it? Was this a band that you discovered on your own?
Yes and no. So in junior high, you meet all the punk rocker, I met all the punk rocker kids, and they're like, these are the bands that were written on their folders and stuff, before every band had
Mm,
stickers, and we can all go get stickers and just put them on everything. The band one of the ones that was on there was No Effects. On
mm,
No Effects' album White Trash, Two Heaves and a Bean, they do a cover of Straight Edge, but they don't do
yeah,
it, and I didn't know what straight edge. I mean, I got the idea of what straight edge was when I heard the song, but they don't do it like fast like Minor Threat. They do it jazzy with someone singing as like Louis Armstrong, and so it's
yeah.
like a jazzy. version of it. And so there was that. Then somebody gives
Mm.
me a tape that they had made, and it's someone cover, and it's the Suicide Machines covering "I Don't Want to Hear It." And then I buy that Suicide Machines
Oh,
album, and I hear it there too. And then I've connected that. I mean, I know who it was on the tape, but I connected it to the album when I bought it. So then I buy it, and I was blown away. It's just super fast, angry, like screamy music that I
mm.
just fucking loved. And that's
Yeah.
that's the band I have a tattoo of on my right shoulder, because that's the band that was like, oh, I can do this. I can go in and play fast music and scream, and I can do all this. It sounds easy. It sounds not easy, but like it sounds fun. And
Yeah.
that's kind of how I got into all of it. Was just Minor Threat was the band that made me want to like start playing in bands. And
Oh, wow.
like they're just a band that kept popping up just throughout the years too. The first band I played in, like official band, I like just jamming with friends.
Mm.
Well, the guitar player was in a Minor Threat also, so we would play some Minor Threat. We would, but they're just a band that kept popping up. So I've got the Minor Threat Black Sheep on my right shoulder.
How did Minor Threat like affect the teenage crew and like how you viewed the scene later on? They're one of those bands that most people point to as influences when
Yeah,
they start making music.
that was what it was for me. I started making when I made songs, they were very fast.
Yeah.
Minor Threat, Circle Jerks, Adolescence. Those were the bands that I was going to. But I also like still like the Foo Fighters a lot too. Like I have,
Mm.
and that the other one I almost chose was the Descendants, and that was the one that's like both. They kind of go back and forth between poppy songs and punk rock songs, like hardcore punk rock songs. And
Yeah.
so I knew they both can exist. But like when I was first writing music, they were all fuck you, 1, 2, fuck you,
Yeah.
punk rock songs.
How did you feel when you discovered that they weren't a band anymore?
Yeah, I was really bummed that I wasn't gonna get to see them. But I also like, I never stop reading about stuff. Like when I find something, I obsess about it and
Mm.
read everything I can. So then I got into Fugazi, and I went and found the, Egg Hunt and all the other bands in between.
Yeah.
And just, just kind of finding out what he's done throughout the years. And this was one of the bands I, like I said, kind of found on my own, but bands were covering,
Yeah.
everybody was covering them at this point. So that I had kind of a mentor in a way in punk rock. My dad's really good friend he was a big part of the, kind of not a big part, but he was a part of the scene in the 80s.
Yeah.
He played in bands, but like he knew a lot of the guys in the Orange County bands. Like this.
Mm. It's funny because I live in Denmark and you live in Cali,
Yeah.
and I mean it's two different sizes, but I just think it's so cool that then you just run into your dad's friends at a show and stuff. I never run into my dad's friends, but I also don't go the same places as they do. Normally
Yeah.
when I'm out, I'm at a concert and we don't exactly listen to the same music
Yeah.
anymore. Does your dad ever go out with you?
Um, every once in a while, he's not much of a show person. He used to go and watch his friend's band play all the time,
Mm.
at the Dollhead out here, which is a really small venue, punk rock venue that like he likes the Fab Four, the Beatles cover band. We saw Elvis Costello at Amoeba Records a while back, like God, almost 20 years ago at this point. But okay, so
Oh yeah.
your teenage one was Fall Out Boy from Under the Cork Tree.
Oh shit. Okay, so where I grew up in Denmark, in Copenhagen, people didn't necessarily like the same things that I did,
Yeah.
and I'm fully aware now that I was the odd kid.
Okay.
I understand it, and I've accepted it. And so the story behind Fallout Boy was my dad had bought me a PlayStation 2,
Okay.
and for Christmas, I'm pretty sure it was Christmas, maybe it was my birthday, I can't remember. I just remember getting a big box with a microphone and what's it called? SingStar Pop Hits.
I would say SingStar.
And as I'm older, it's nearly 20 years ago I got it. It was in 2007 I
Mhm.
discovered it. Oh, well, I got it. And that means I knew about Avril Lavigne.
Okay.
She was, I should have, it would have probably have been more fair to say that Avril Lavigne shaped my teens, but the fact is that she only shaped the beginning of them. Because on the SingStar karaoke, you had Avril Lavigne with My Happy Ending and Ashley Simpson. Remember her, Jessica Simpson's
Yes.
little sister that did the pop punk stuff? And I'm not trying to be condescending because it was actually, I liked it.
Yeah.
But she had the song Boyfriend. And at some point, my dad, he gets so tired of me singing those two songs that he goes, "Why don't you pick something else?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." And it's this story is also how I discovered My Chemical Romance, by the way.
Okay.
And I go like, Fall Out Boy, Dance Dance. Okay, this sounds fun. And I put it on and my life changed. That became the only song that I would sing. And then I got a
So
computer.
so he kind of shot himself in the foot there, didn't he?
Oh, big time. Oh, big time. I think if that man never has to listen to another Fall Out Boy song, if he never hears them mentioned again, he'll be even happier. I think he has some PTSD when it comes to now,
Yeah.
because then we got the internet
Yeah.
and what happens when a teenage girl who's discovered her new favorite band does when she goes on YouTube. I had a friend that had YouTube, and she'd shown me along the way Cake
Mhm.
and Jimmy Eat World and Motion City Soundtrack and Panic at the Disco and something corporate as well. Oh, I love those bands. I got CDs for birthday and Christmas and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It wasn't anything big, but you still had to wait. So somewhere along the line, my dad had to finally accept his daughter not going to be as his daughter and this to you know Jennifer Lopez and whatever.
Yeah.
So I was just blasting the same Fall Out Boy songs
Yeah.
for hours. Somewhere along the line, that's when I started dyeing my hair black, wearing heavy eyeliner,
Yeah.
um, just full on in.
Yeah.
And you don't get out of it. I mean, that album, I got it last year for my birthday and the deluxe edition. And it was just having that one, it was a moment of pure joy.
I was super punk rock kid, so this was never a band I was into. Um, and I used to make fun of my friend all the time because I know the names of
Oh
the
my God.
songs, so I used to make fun of him all the time. And then I think he just stopped listening to them because of me, and I hope it wasn't because of me. I was just like, I'll make fun of somebody, but I hope you make fun of me back. Like that's
When my dad got out of jail, we went to Corfu,
mhm.
and and I was sulking. I was miserable. I was a teenager. My dad had been away, and life was horrible. And I was very protective of my eyeliner. And one day
As you should be.
I couldn't find my eyeliner. And he came knocking, and I opened the door, and my dad is just standing there looking like Ozzy Osbourne, going, "Are you looking for this?"
Nice.
I'm gonna admit, in the moment, I was so mad at him.
Yeah.
And it's such a funny thing because he was just trying to connect.
Yeah.
And I was just, oh, God, you never understand me. You broke my eyeliner. No, he didn't. He was just having a good time and trying to connect with his daughter. I know that every time, like the past, yeah, 10 years since they got back together, maybe longer. Um, it's been longer. I know that. I'm just bad with years. It's every time they drop something new, I will stay up till past midnight to hear how they've evolved. I feel like a lot of my music maybe not the next album we'll be talking about. It just a lot of it when it comes to pop punk, it just pop rock, pop punk. It
Yeah.
just goes like Fall Out Boy now. What about Beach Boys?
Yeah, so that same guy that I made fun of about Fallout Boy was the one who actually he didn't introduce the Beach Boys to me, but he introduced this album, Pet Sounds, to me, which I know like a lot of people are like, oh, like everybody likes that album, but it's a really good fucking album. It's just put together well and nice. He showed me that album. I had heard some of the songs off of it. Like I said, I wasn't the Beach Boys were one of those bands that I didn't listen to a lot because again with my dad, he was a Beatles fan and they weren't real big on the Beach Boys in my family. So
Yeah.
when I started hanging out with my buddy, he loves Beach Boys and Brian Wilson and all that, and he starts playing all of this stuff for me and goes, "Oh, listen to this," and how he's the one who kind of got me into listening to albums and like hearing how they're all put together, not just four fucking kids jumping into a room and playing 100 miles per hour.
And just having fun because for me, the Beach Boys, that's fun. That's summer.
Yeah.
It's light music. And I agree that Pet Sounds is it's one of the best albums. I'm Waiting for the Day is a brilliant track, and Caroline No, that's so sweet.
With that just that train at the end of it. It was it helped me a lot because this is around the time I like started going to therapy and like working on a bunch of stuff that I needed to work on. And this album, I relate this album to that a lot. And just, if you know the Brian Wilson story, it's not, I'm not saying it was that bad for me, but like it was the time I was starting to look into my mental health and like figure out what's wrong. And I'm that person who has to joke about everything. And that's how I deal with everything. I make a joke. And now I just make the joke in my head rather than out loud.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've got a real brutal sense of humor. Like my friends and I are fucking brutal, and I know we just horrible to each other, and we not as bad as we were, but still can be. We're older, and most of us are parents now, so we
can get away with it.
We've calmed down quite a bit since that time. And most of us aren't drinking as much as we were. God. And I wasn't ever bad with drinking.
No.
It was, it could have been. It's something my family, very big in my family, but I had my time, but it never, it never affected anything horribly. I think my big thing was more of a confidence thing than anything, and that's what therapy got me, a lot more confidence. And I said, this album for me is that's what this album is. It's whatever I'm having a rough mental day, this and Smile, I'll kind of listen to them together. However, there's a caveat with Smile though.
Yeah.
The song Good Vibrations, which the one that everybody loves and that's on everything, is like my bad luck song, and I've had horrible things happen to me around that song. And
really?
Yeah, like if you know the oranges, and I always call it my oranges in The Godfather. If you know the orange things, the orange thing from The Godfather. Yeah, where oranges go by and it's just something bad happens. That is my oranges from The Godfather. I've had like extensive dental work done. I've been dumped. I've had car accidents.
Oh my God.
Now it's not as bad as it was, but I also avoided that song like the plague. And it's a good song. Like it's sad. I've been yelled at by my parents because there was, and it could all be coincidental, but I'm going to be superstitious about it and be like, no, it's that song.
Beyond Team Superstition, it's definitely the song.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's too many coincidences for it to. Yeah. It's a song. It's a song at this point.
Yeah.
We better never play it.
But yeah, I mean that's what I relate this album to is helping with my mental health, and also kind of helping me helping me from getting under the punk rock, if you will. And there's that joke of where have you been living under a rock? Yeah, punk rock.
So I haven't heard that joke, but now I like it. Oh wow. Your full out boyfriend.
Yeah,
Um
all out boyfriend. I'm gonna tell him you called him that. He'll think it's funny.
he's I mean, we're gonna that's patent pending now. He is full out boyfriend.
All out
Actually helps
boyfriend.
got a whole new genre to listen to. That's really cool. I feel like I had to discover the different genres all by myself, like doing deep dives. You start with one song and then you just fall into this rabbit hole.
That's
So
yeah.
I'm glad that our
I just went
with
backward.
I did too. Like, how did the album help your mental health? Like, what was it that was it a specific song that just
Ooh.
told you to react, or
It was the whole album.
because that's very interesting.
It's a whole. I mean, the whole album, like I said, it's well put together. You can get lost in it
Yeah.
really easily, and that's what I did. I would just get lost in it, and
Mm-hmm.
I can drive around and just get lost in it and listen to it over and over again. And I don't like early Beach Boys as much, like your Surfing USA and all that. But once we start getting to
Mm.
when I grew up to be a man, and like up to when Brian Wilson left, that's when that's that sweet spot of Beach Boys for me is really good.
Oh wow. Oh,
Yeah.
that's. But what about a specific song from the album?
I know there's an answer is a good one, and I like I I feel like there's a lot of perspective in this album in general. I think being a writer, I kind of felt like there was a story in it, and I feel like between Pet Sounds, Smile, and then like this last album he put out, this album he had put out like 15, 20 years ago. I can't think of the name of
Mm-hmm.
it. It kind of tells a story, and it could just be me like projecting that because like I said, I'm a writer and I'm trying to figure that out. But I feel like that's what it does, and I think it does it well. Like there's not just one. I can't narrow it down to one because it's just all so damn good, and it all just worked for me. I just wasn't made for these times. Because I always feel like
Yeah.
I get shit because I like a lot of older music. Like the one band I didn't put on here that I love, but again, I couldn't narrow it down to one album was The Clash. And because of The
Oh
Clash,
yeah.
I started going backwards. That's why I mean, I went backward. They actually put in Trojan put out an album of like all their influences. So it's the Ramones and it's
Yeah.
Jonathan Richman and it's all the ska bands, the stuff that they cover on there. It's Booker T and the MGs and all these different types of bands. And I was liking that a lot more than the newer bands. And I was just going backwards. So the joke with my friends for a long time was, oh, well, if it's from before 1985, Forrest doesn't want to, or after 1985, Forrest doesn't want to listen to it. That was always
I mean,
one of them that I always thought was, I mean, I laugh with it. They weren't wrong.
I like my music old too. I was actually speaking to a friend about this the other day. I said that I truly believe that I'm more of a 60s or 70s girl,
Hmm.
mostly with how my music taste has evolved. That was heavily influenced by Fleetwood Mac. That was again, it was hard to narrow it down because there wasn't any Rolling Stones. I could never get into the Rolling Stones. It just they never said any. It's
Hmm.
just like but yeah, I feel like Fleetwood Mac mostly rumors that shaped a lot of my 20s, not because of heart or anything, but it's just doing a deep dive on Cher and finding out how she started and then moving on to Simon and Roberta Flack, and then you have Diana Ross, and yeah, and the ball keeps rolling. And then I discovered, okay, I didn't discover. I finally Stevie Nicks song from start to finish, and it was just like this woman, and we all know which one I'm talking about. Edge of 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I heard. And then I discovered Fleetwood Mac, and from that day, I yeah, I was about, yeah, I was probably 19. And it's not because nobody's ever played it to me. I never listened. Honestly, I didn't listen. I dropped out of high school. I got my GED when I was 18, and I actually ended up doing my graduating assignment on Woodstock 96.
Oh, okay.
69. 69, sorry. In Danish, it's called 69, where you put the 9 in front of 6 ads. It's
Okay.
confusing. And, and that's how I discovered Joe Mitchell and all these people. And the ball kept rolling. But again, I had never really put time and effort into Fleetwood Mac because there was so much drama around the band that I was like, oh, I don't think I could actually deal with it. I wasn't
There's a
personally
lot.
involved in the drama.
There's a lot. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, and I didn't even like deep dive on that. I just know that there's a lot there.
I mean, I wasn't even involved in the drama. I was like, oh, it's funny.
This is
But then
exhausting,
it
and I'm
sat
not even
down.
there.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, how can you be so exhausting? Just music. But then I heard The Chain, Rumors, just being one of my favorite albums. Fucking
Yeah,
good.
I didn't realize how much of this album I had actually heard because I've never been a big Fleetwood
Mm.
Mac fan. I know the hits, and I didn't realize how many hits were on this album until I was like, oh, like until they're next to each other. It was kind of the same thing that happened to me with the Beach Boys when my buddy was playing for them, when Fall Out Boyfriend was playing them. He was playing them one day, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I do know this. I'm like, I only know like 5 songs, and he kept playing songs for me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I do know this one. Oh yeah, I guess I do know this one. Oh yeah, I guess I do know this one. And it just kept like rolling. It just kept rolling until it's that giant ball of snow, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I do know all these songs. I'll tell you the with the song "Don't Stop." I'll tell you what embarrassing that happened, and I was trying to look cool, and it fucking backfired. So I had this job where I worked for Nabisco, and I would which is Nabisco a company they have out there?
No.
Oreos. Where Oreos come from is Nabisco out our way. I'm not sure
Oh.
what they call it out on your. And I would go to stores in the area and I would stock shelves and set up displays and things like that at just grocery stores and Targets and things like that. And I stop at one place to get pizza. This is a place I'd stop to, and I'd always kind of like flirt with like the person in the front. I was like, oh, there's a jukebox, and I was gonna go play something cool, and I ended up playing "Don't Stop" instead. And it wasn't gonna work. Like it wasn't that it's not a good song. It just wasn't gonna work in that situation. And I was just and I totally pulled like I hit the wrong thing on it, and it just yeah, I was just like I'm gonna sit and eat my pizza in embarrassment.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Ah. Also very funny.
Yeah, no, I mean, I even I laughed at it. I guess after I left, I'm like, oh, that was funny. But I never went back to that pizza place again.
Oh, I wonder why. Do you think they remember you? How long ago is it?
Oh,
20
this
years ago?
was 20 years ago, so probably not.
To write about music, you also need an understanding of where music came from.
Hmm.
And so a lot of it could also have something to do with the fact that we have to research, and
Yeah,
definitely does help. Um, yeah, because well, I do write for a few publications. I have my own private stash that
yeah,
I've never posted before, which I often think about posting. It's also just um I write a lot of poetry.
yeah,
It's getting very teenage, um, write a lot of poetry, and I do sometimes think about um releasing it, and just something to do with the blend of um well, Fleetwood Mac and Patti Smith. That
Yeah.
was the influences that came from there. And then as I got older, and we're talking about that in a moment, it just became such a nice escape to be able to write something and then maybe not publish it, but sometimes I think about publishing it. So recently, like now, you sent me Growing Up by Linda Lindas.
Yes.
Oh,
That is very much, well, we as my kids are getting into music, especially my daughter, I'm very much like always on the lookout for bands for her to listen to. It's easy just to point her to, the Ramones and all the other ones, but I always want to get
yeah.
her more female fronted bands because there's a lot more. I'm not gonna say there's a lot more now, but I'm less judgy as I was when I was younger. And now that
Mm,
and now that I have a daughter, I see how much more important that is. And I should
hmm
100% be called out on all that. Like I 100% recognize that it's something I should have, given more of a thought to younger, but 100% need to be called out on that for not for not giving it its due when I was younger and stupid. No, I'm just older and stupid.
But
But
I mean, we don't need to call you out on it.
oh,
Sounds like you have enough self-awareness to actually admit that you should have noticed earlier. So
yeah. But I
I think I mean, everything takes time, and the fact that you're doing it now, that's positive.
but that's where it came from. And
Mm,
I the album, it's good, just it's good to be able to find something and have, and share it with my kids. Most of it, most of the stuff I do was comics and comic books. Like when Johnny was first born, I was like, he's gonna be super into Batman, and he's just like, oh, I know who Batman is. With Emily, I was like, hey, she'll probably like, well, let's try to get her into Wonder Woman, and then she broke my heart and like Superman for a bit.
aw.
But it was fine. She kind of goes back and forth. She's a lot like me and liking comics and punk rock, and so we kind of go back and forth. But she likes her own things, and I like that. Like I've never, it didn't take me too long to be like, well, they're their own person, so you can show them these things, but don't
Hmm.
don't force it too much. But the first time I saw the Linda Lindas was opening for Jawbreaker. Oh God, in the middle of the pandemic, like right when Jawbreaker was able to start when they toured
Hmm.
again. And it was the only thing I'd seen before was the video of them playing Racist Sexist Boy in the library during the pandemic.
Oh
And
yeah.
I was like, I didn't know what to think of it at first because I was like, oh, it's a little. I feel like it's their cringiest song, but I love that they embrace it so much. Does that make sense? I like that it's like there's like, no, this is it. This is what we're about. The where that song has gone from from what it was, because it's much heavier than it was played before. Like
Hmm.
then it was on the album. They've slowed it down like
Yeah.
just enough to where it sounds a little more metally than it does punk rocky on those verses. If
Hmm.
my family has a favorite band, it's the Linda Lindas. We see them every year, at least once a year, every year.
Aw, that's so cool.
Yeah, we'll stand in the middle of the pit and watch them play.
Oh my. Oh, that what does your how did and your wife likes them too?
Yeah,
I just started mumbling because
yeah,
I'm actually really impressed that as a family you just decide to go and listen to the Linda Lindas like once a year. I think that's very impressive and I think that's so cool.
yeah. We like them and they're fun. They put on a good show. Like I've never seen a bad show from them. We've seen them. I mean, we've seen them open. We saw them open for Green Day last year. We've seen them open for Paramore. They'll play smaller shows in the area, so we go and see them just whenever we can, if we got the money
Mm.
and the time. But yeah, we my wife is a little older than you. I think like 5-ish years older, but you guys like a lot of the same music. And so she was emo scene kid type person. So she, it's adjacent. All that music is adjacent at this point.
So you have Fall Out Boyfriend, and you have your wife that's also on my team. It's not looking good for you over there, Minor Threat.
Mm.
I find that really cool. I've actually never seen them live. I really want to see them live.
Yeah.
Um, but how does your is it your daughter's favorite band?
She has rotating bands
Uh,
that she likes. Usually, who if we've just gone to see them, that's her favorite band. But they're usually so there's usually five. The Linda Lindas are usually in there. Sometimes the Interrupters are in there. Right now, she's into ska, so she's like Half Past Two and Bite Me Bambi. Blondie's usually in there at some point. Paramore. So she kind of rotates them out just based on who we've seen recently.
God, your daughter's much cooler than I love. Damn it.
I just got her into Slaughterhouse. But I got her into she likes their cover of My War better than Black Flags.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
I haven't listened to Scowl too much and I want to listen to them a little bit more and kind of play them by her.
I may actually try and put one of those songs on and let her discover the band. That would be a huge win. I really like them. Um,
Okay.
I I don't know what's about them. I mean, their music is something I wouldn't normally listen to,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I think it's the energy
Mhm.
that they serve on the I've never seen them live, but I've been told that the energy from the album translates really well onto their live
Mhm.
um shows. And you can just hear this whole yeah, this energy and this let's go get it attitude
Yeah.
throughout their songs. And I really love that the whole band's together. And you can, when I was listening to it's been a while since I listened to the Linda Lindas, and I have to admit that I never listened to that album. I might have listened to one of the songs before without actively putting it on because I was a late Linda Linda fan. But I just when I was listening to it, this is just I don't even know what words I'm looking for because it was a very different experience than the music that they've put out recently. It's just I mean they stayed true to themselves,
Yeah.
but the first album is just like it's go-getter energy. This because we are not everyone else. And I just think that's so cool because they keep like with the albums that growing up, it's they continue to have the same let's go get it, but it's not the same let's show people what we've got because we know what they got. We've seen it. And I just think it's cool that they still have that same go-getter attitude.
Yeah, I kind of get upset when I hear people talk about them because I think people try to nepo baby them with because some of the members have people who are already in the punk rock scene previously, you know, I think it's a little, the nepo baby thing is weird because as a parent, you're supposed to let I'm okay letting your child like fail here and there,
Yeah.
right? So they learn up to a point,
Yeah.
but like, you know, there's a path that was blazed with punk rock, and we're supposed to like not let them use that path. Like you're supposed to, people you're just gatekeeping that path still, and so you're gonna call them nepo babies because you know they have someone guiding them. They got someone with a way to show them where to go.
Yeah, and now that you're mentioning this, I this reminded that reminded me of an article I read. Was it oh maybe it was like on Reddit, but when they were about to release No Obligation
Yeah.
and they had uh was it the first or second single? There was a thread on Reddit about about them, and
Mhm.
somebody called them Like they were just there because they knew the right people. And I couldn't remember if it was too many things that what that had triggered that, or if it was the track. Because I remember people just coming at them and saying that they were industry plants. And the same thing happened with the last dinner party. And I just remember it, and I just remember getting angry because it's not that they, like, I didn't know that Eloise or the others had new famous people or had famous people. Something I had read about them. And I think that's why I didn't listen to growing up, because I wanted to act cool, and that's my own fault.
Yeah.
But I do regret it. It's just shitty of me, and I'm very sorry.
Eh,
Um,
but that's the thing, is you're learning, and that's all you can do is just learn. It happens. I've done it with I did it with Paramore, and I'm okay with Paramore now.
God, I love Paramore. I grew up with them.
But it's also like, are you just supposed to, if this is what your kid's into, or and you can help your kid, are you just supposed to just
Yeah.
what's the difference between if Emily came to me and said, "Hey, I want to play in a band. Can I use your bass?" What's the difference?
Well,
I mean, I know, but like, if I have stuff to record, if I have the stuff that I worked for, and I want to let my kid use it, like, what's the difference? I mean, I know, yeah,
it's hard. They might know people, but again, who doesn't know people? I mean, it's America. It might look big, but everybody knows everybody on the music scene. Trying to have this, let's show people who we are, and that go-getter attitude.
people are going to say what they're going to say no matter what, and having being guilty of being one of those people, not really being guilty, but like participating in those conversations, like,
Mm.
I got no room to judge and say. I just, if they sound good, they sound good. You could say the same thing about the Sex Pistols. And
Oh yeah.
there's more evidence for that argument against the Sex Pistols than there are against the Linda Lindas.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
So your most recent one was Hot Mulligan. Why would I watch? And this was my first Hot Mulligan album. Someone at Dying Scene had recommended an album to me. I forgot which one though. But um, is it something that just hit on this album than the earlier albums, or did you like the earlier albums better, or this one just hit, or what happened on this one?
Well, so what it was, I was reviewing the album when it came out, and there's one of the songs that talks about body dysmorphia and struggling with your self-image. And I remember that because I grew up with anorexia.
Okay.
And when as my daughter gets older and I become more self-aware, and um as I told you, I started exposure therapy because I started to being visited by the nice anxiety fairy again.
Yeah.
It just kind of hit me that everything that the album just became very relatable in a lot of ways. It's first of all, it's really beautiful. But the song about the body dysmorphia, I saw a lot of myself in it, like being a very skinny kid that didn't want to eat because she had a mom that said you'd be fat, but wore very baggy clothes to hide it so people wouldn't actually catch you not eating or on
Yeah.
my weight and stuff like that. And my daughter last year, she went through some kids have this phase where they just decide to hate your food, and they will not want to eat dinner, and they'll only eat three things, and it's all fun and games, and
Yeah.
it sucks that phase. And my daughter, she was losing a lot of weight, and she'd gotten really skinny, and she had been to a checkup, and the doctors were like, she's 5 and she weighs what a 3-year-old would normally weigh. And I was like getting worried and why she didn't want to eat and stuff like that. But somehow her face there just contributed to my anxiety of would I ever relapse? What would happen here? And then I also had a cat. I've had a lot of cats in my life.
Mhm.
And he actually sings about, and I thought that was really beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm a very big softie for. There's a lot of songs on the album. I love their previous stuff too, but I just
It was a good listen. I'm very picky about my pop punk now.
yeah.
You know who surprisingly who I really like is Beach Bunny.
Oh, I like Beach Bunny too.
Yeah, the more I heard it, I liked it, but and it made me want to go back and actually listen to pop punk that I missed because some of it's really good. Some of it, this was like I said, this was good too. It was an interesting listen. You know,
Yeah.
the the Fallout Boy stuff, like it just didn't hit with me. I think the last big pop punk band I was into was Midtown, and that's like the first two albums of Midtown, I think.
That's how old is that band? That's
Midtown is
that's 90s, isn't it? Yeah, 98.
yeah, 98 because they yeah.
Oh shit, it's with the guy from Cobra Starship as the lead vocalist.
Yeah, when I told my when my wife and I started dating, she's like, "You like Midtown?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they're fucking great." And then like you see how poppy he got over the years.
Yeah, 100%. You can, yeah. All respect to Gabe.
Yeah.
He worked hard.
Yeah, no, I
Uh
100%. Like
that's
he's been, he's been doing it for a long time. So, but it made me want to go back and listen to more. I forgot who told me to try to give him a listen. My music time is usually on my drive home, and so I get about
mm.
an hour a day that I'm like listening to new stuff. Or if I'm not doing a lot at work, I'll kind of put something on. And that's when I put this on, and I enjoyed it. It got me through, got me through that work hour. Thank you for listening to Four Records. Please check us out on Instagram at Four Records Podcast or email us at fourrecordspodcast@gmail.com. And as always, please keep up with your favorite bands at dyingscene.com.